said till you get to find the city packet. We have to keep scrolling.
That's what you gotta do, we have it on all the way down to here.
Somewhere where it said 2018. And then we found March. Because it listed all of it. 2018, January.
Yep, it's okay, it's just slow, so if you go put it on.
I'm not in chair of
Yep,
you.
and just or drive.
I'm afraid if I back out of here,
You're gonna fuck.
yeah.
It's just really
I'm
slow.
gonna have to just go off my email.
I'm sure that's it. I can use my phone.
Brian, you don't
I've already got there. I'm on that page right there. It's literally the same thing. Go back to
Liquor
your
license
list.
was one, and the other one was something about the fire truck. They have to approve something for them.
Yeah, I'm getting
Approval or something.
Technology isn't, see, I keep, as you go down, it keeps getting.
That's what mine was
Older.
doing too. But. She found it. It was. How did you find mine, city council, to find the January, February,
Shared
March?
folders.
Shares, I can't get a share folders.
It'll eventually come up. It's just really slow. Cause we had to wait for his for quite some time. This isn't even going live. It's just spinning.
Alright, we don't go live tonight, perfect.
Okay,
Well, I'm gonna let that
I'm
keep
gonna watch
going.
myself then.
If you wanna go ahead and start.
meeting adjourned.
No meeting
I like it.
order, like the meeting. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, adopt the agenda.
I have,
Everybody has it?
I do have two things to add to the agenda tonight. I'd like to add number 14 to new business. It's resolution 2519. It's a resolution for the paperwork for our fire truck that we've been working on. Again, one of the final things. I think I say that every time, but they keep coming up with a new one. So that's to purchase our new fire truck. And then after this, then we should be signing on the actual paperwork to buy it. And then also the second one, add number 6 to the consent agenda. It's another temporary liquor license for the Giants of the Earth. I just got it late this afternoon.
Those additions all move to adopt the consent, or adopt the agenda, I mean.
We have any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Passes.
We gotta approve the consent agenda now, Brian.
So, yeah, on to the, we need to read through these or any questions on the consent?
Nope, you just gotta give it a first and a second for approving
Make
these.
a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I was second it.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Open forum, this is anybody that's not on the agenda, you got 2 minutes to speak and say what's on your mind.
Sure, I'll go. Dana, is that okay? Do I have to, do
Yeah.
you need a motion for anything? Okay.
If it has anything to do with what's on our agenda, it can wait till that point.
Oh, my apologies, it
Yep.
does. Sorry.
Okay.
Good.
Alright, let's move on to old business. The CD contract.
I need to give,
Okay, do we need to have discussion about that?
yeah, let me get Laura on the phone. She's the E EDA.
Then we might have to close the door if we're gonna do
a speakerphone thing. Traffic.
Give me 1 moment, sorry. Your phone numbers don't come up when you're on your phone.
So did she call you earlier?
Well, I was supposed to call her, but her phone number is not showing up in the email when I click on it.
Are there 3 little dots there?
Hmm.
Something happened in this room. No, she's not working.
Hey,
First 2 times I came to any meetings, my phone, I couldn't get or send a text for 2 days afterwards. I could make phone calls, but I couldn't send or receive a text.
I can hardly get service in here.
yeah, it's like I
Like in a
got,
bunker. Fallout shelter type thing.
So, new business number 15, request a new city council meeting area.
no. I mean, I hate to talk about it without her on the phone. Can you guys, can we come back to that? Can I keep working on that? Maybe,
Try to get it. Well,
Alright, let's move on to number 2, EDA 24 annual report.
I just, last month, I thought that we had to vote on that and accept it, but come to find out, we don't. They're just sharing their report with us.
Okay.
So we don't need to vote on that or anything.
Okay. Moving on to number 3, extending the rental agreement for 194 West Main Street. That's the property on the other side of the.
yeah, the White House.
Yeah.
Okay, so that, March 1st it was due, I take it, or the end of his agreement? Now he wants to go for
Her.
3, or
She-
her, for
yep.
3 months? What's to become after them 3 months?
So before the council decided that they weren't gonna sell it because they didn't know if they needed it for the fire hall. So they decided to extend it until March and review it again to see if we're any further along with our plans with the fire hall, which we're not, but, her rental agreement is done in March. She's wondering, hey, I'm probably gonna move, can I just extend it 3 more months?
Is she on a full year lease? Is
Yeah.
that what we had?
And
Full
it's-
year lease is coming up.
And it's coming up. So she's just wondering, can I just rent for 3 more months, cause she might be moving somewhere?
She may, okay.
Is
Okay.
all
I was
she-
there, is she interested in buying it? I mean, that's
No.
what, she's not, okay.
Nope.
So,
Did you offer it to her though?
Well,
Did
she
you
told
ask
me
her?
she was moving.
Oh, but I don't know if she knows that you guys are gonna sell it.
Oh, they haven't voted on
I
that yet.
was just curious.
Yeah.
I'm just asking the question. I mean, I think it's been brought up before. That's why I'm just curious if we can extend it out 3 months, we can go another year, depending what.
I think we should, if we extend it past 3 months, I think we should look at the rental rate on it.
I think we just.
You
did that
just
last
raised
year.
it.
We just did it last year.
She's been a great renter this whole time.
Well, then we'll have to make the decision, if she does leave, do we get another renter in there, or do we just be done
Or if we decide
and
to
keep it
sell it,
empty
she
till
needs
we
to part-
make a decision of what they're gonna do with it?
Do we have anybody that has been interested in renting it, talked about signing a lease at this
I think she,
moment?
I think he was the first renter when we first put it
Yeah.
out for rent.
Oh.
But she's been renting ever since.
So like, there's nobody that's like itching to get in the door?
No, because it's such a up in the air thing.
Yeah.
Like, they don't know how long they're gonna be able to stay there. If the city comes up with a plan for that place, they may have a couple months' notice that they gotta move. So
Yeah.
it's, I mean, she's been very easy to work with through all of this.
I guess that, I'd be willing to, if she would be willing, I would extend another year contract and just, I think the rate, we had the rent pretty good. I would just leave the rent where it's at and extend it for another year.
With that option for a year, if she wants it, but
If she
yeah,
wants-
definitely give
yeah,
her 3
yeah.
months, cause I mean.
3 for sure, and if she'd like
We're
a
just,
year,
it's
we'll
up in the air,
go for
nothing's
another year
happening.
lease.
Yeah, and I think an empty house is the worst thing that you can do to a house.
Well, right.
is
Right.
Let it sit empty. If we do turn around in a year and wanna sell it, sitting empty for 9 months is probably not the best.
Right,
Yeah, so I make a motion to extend the lease for another year and leave the rent as is.
What is the current rental?
600. Okay, hold on.
What size is the house?
so she's asking for a 3 month, but
Yeah.
he's saying a year, we
Right.
can
I would
only
have-
do the 3 months.
We don't wanna do a year and have her feel she's locked into something
Yeah,
she
she
doesn't
doesn't
want.
wanna be locked in.
She
Right,
doesn't wanna be locked in?
No, she just needs an extra 3 months to find a new place.
so we give her 3 months.
I think we could extend 3 months, but then I would
Well,
look at the rental rate if it's going to go past that.
Well, come July, 1st of July, that would be, or whatever, then we look at.
I mean, is she just looking to move if we only do 3 months, or if we do another year, will she stay a year? I'm just,
She told me straight out, our contract is up, can you give me an additional 3 months, cause I plan on moving.
okay.
But she doesn't have the place lined up apparently, but,
Well, that's what I'm just at,
So,
throw it out there.
okay, in
so,
her,
so we don't wanna lock her in for a year if
in
she's
her
gonna
year
move.
lease, is there like if you give 30 days notice? Because if she comes back and she's
I
like,
can't remember if there's no clause in
in
there. or
3
not.
months, now I want another month, or another, like, just a little bit more time.
It should go both ways, yeah.
Like,
For
if we
the
just put it
landlord
in the
or the
contract and
tenant.
say, okay, 30 days.
It's in a
It's
rate
in
packet.
I guess, yeah,
It's
you
a
have
really
to ask
cheap
her if
rental though,
that,
so I think that it would be fair to take another look at
Well-
the rental rate after that 3-month period.
It says here, will terminate March 1st, 2025. Upon conclusion of this term, the lease shall automatically continue as month-to-month lease on the same terms and conditions unless written notice to terminate the lease is provided to the other party prior to the month of termination.
It's just month to month until it's, right now it's just month to month, so we really don't need to renew
So
this
we don't
one.
even need to
Right.
vote on
So
that.
we can just keep going.
Going on as
As is.
status quo right now.
If it takes her 6 months, it takes her 6 months.
Yep.
If she's out in 2, she's out in 2.
Or if she wants to stay, she
I
can
mean, that
stay.
gives, that, she's got flexibility now,
Yeah.
cause she's past the year, now it's just
She
month
has
to
the
month,
freedom.
and
it'd be kinda nice to know, or get some kind of thing from her, if 3 months is her deal, to give us time to be advertising to get somebody in there, otherwise she's out in 3 months. Now we
I think we
gotta.
could probably find somebody to come back in, I mean, if she decides
think
to
it'd
move
go
or something like
pretty
that, I think we'd be able to fill it pretty quick.
Okay.
Just that, if she does move out, and then we'll have to
It
redo a
would be-
lease contract
like
with
if
a
we
new,
could get
with a new
a-
tenant, you know?
Yeah.
A notice, at
Right now,
least, like a 30-day notice.
We're
or
kinda,
something.
I'm
Right,
willing to
because
just grandfather in where we're at until she decides to move.
Yeah, the notice is on the
Right now,
calendar month,
so.
so that's a minimum of a 30-day.
Right.
You threw a motion out there, do we have to?
I will amend my motion and just leave it as is, being as we are on the current lease month by month until both parties agree that's no longer amicable.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that motion? All in favor, say aye.
Alright,
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Are we going to new business, or are we gonna just hold up on?
I can't find her phone number, it's not coming up.
What does she want to discuss with us on this?
Well, she wanted to be on here because we were talking about the CETA contract.
Okay.
did she call you at all at any time?
Not on this phone,
Oh, I was gonna say, look through your recent numbers.
no. And I'm in my email and it does not show up on my
She called you
email.
last month during the meeting, didn't she? You used your phone to call her last
Oh,
meeting.
Jesus, do you know how many phone calls I get?
Just look at the date.
Again, it's just the 651 329 for on this one.
Yep.
There you go.
Good job, Morgan.
Good job, Lori. For all you council members wondering what you gotta do if you become a council member, this is it. 651. Thank you. Saved you, Lori. Hi, Laura, it's Jana.
Hey,
Sorry it's so late. It took me a little bit to get your phone number going.
oh, I'm sorry.
So, okay, so we're on to old business CD contract number 1.
Okay.
So after the meeting, do we wanna have a discussion about the seed contract, or are we?
Well, it's our time to do it.
Yeah.
I guess-
After the meeting, or do we do it right here?
Do it right here.
now?
Yeah.
Do it right here, right now.
I think he meant after the last meeting we had.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
Since we had that, we
Yeah.
adjust.
Well, I first of all would like to apologize for that meeting because I feel like it wasn't led very well, which I take full responsibility for that. I guess I thought maybe we could talk about things a little more open, and I think that we need more structure in meetings. So I don't think a lot of people walked out of that meeting feeling very good the other night, because I just think a lot of things were misunderstood. So I take ownership of that. I think it was a very poorly led meeting by myself. So I hope that we can try and figure something out.
Well, I think there was a lot of confusion. Some people didn't have their stories straight
Right.
or something. And like you say, people left there still wondering what the hell
Mm-hmm.
going on.
Well, I know, you and I made some side comments there, we're talking, and
Yeah,
we had, something got proposed to the council as one thing, and then all of a sudden it was changed a little bit, and we were wondering when, certain things got changed without us knowing about it.
and I think we shouldn't be getting rid of CETA, but I think they need to put their priorities on something. Rather than having 8, 10 projects going at once, we need to prioritize either 1, 2, 3, do them projects, move on to the other 3 after something. We're just sitting there spinning wheels with all these things and nothing's happening.
Yeah, I think we're trying to,
Too much at one time maybe, I don't know what the problem is, but.
I think one of the problems was that each time they came up with a new concept for downtown, once you do the deep dive of, you know what I mean, because it takes a lot of work, it's found out that it's not an option, right? And so then
Right.
you, so every time you go back to the drawing board, that's a considerable amount of time with something like that. You know, there are some projects that certainly are pretty simple and straightforward.
well, that's what we're saying, I mean, it's like, okay, so maybe they're working on downtown, maybe they're working Parks and Rec, maybe they're working something over here, something here. We're just, maybe we need to concentrate now, just, reel them in. Let's get an anchor project first. Let's get this one, and then once this anchor project here is done, got a really good foothold. Because right now, there's no footholds in any good project, there's not a good foothold in any one project. I feel, anyway, I mean,
I understand what you're saying. I think that, so what would people feel are the priorities right now? If you could maybe list what you feel the
I would say
priorities would be?
my first priority would be, we're gonna need a daycare. Because if we don't have childcare in this town, who's gonna wanna move here? That's gonna affect their school, and that's gonna affect their downtown. So I think anchor point being, let's work, EDA work on getting us a daycare first. And then, let's get that foothold going. Then let's move to downtown. Because then once we can get something established there, because once you get a daycare established, I think we're gonna have more people willing to come to this town. I know we're having a housing shortage, but we still have to have
Right.
some downtown commerce for them to come here too.
Right.
Because always, they have daycare, they have a school, but, they don't have some of these amenities that we need. Where everybody else does.
Well, I think that it's important that we continue with the smaller programs that the EDA currently runs. You know, there's a lot of grant money that's given out to businesses every year for, say, new signage and things. Would you
Well, I
want
mean, I
us to
think
continue
I
with
think
those small
maybe-
pieces?
That would maybe have to fall more on just the EDA itself. You know what I mean? Because the EDA does have their money for that, where I think maybe we need to concentrate CW, we have them contracted for the year. Okay, have them just start working more with Jana. I know maybe have them just run the EDA meetings, but not have an EDA, maybe the EDA just takes more of this on. Like, you know, Parks and Rec, you know, if something doesn't get done, guess what? Parks and Rec's down there pulling weeds and stuff like that, maybe, you know. Maybe certain people can sit there and dedicate a little bit of time to, you know, okay, you wanna do signage, you can do this or that. Or, and some of these grants are so easy to fill
Kind
out
of
for some of that
just
stupid.
point done projects.
Yeah, and maybe CETA needs to concentrate more with Jana on the daycare and then the downtown. And then we can move, you know, there might be some little grants here or there they can file for, like for Parks and Rec or some other things too, but start turning their focus more towards anchor projects and instead of, let's do one first because there is so many, then you get spread thin. You know, if you get too many projects, you get spread thin.
Yeah,
I
and I
think part of
think,
it too is we need to identify the project that we need a grant for before we just apply for a grant because it's there. I feel like there's a lot of, oh, let's grab this because it's here and then we can make this a project. But we need to focus on, okay, we really need this daycare to get done, so let's file for all the grants or whatever we can, let's get all of our movement towards that. Not this like, oh, there's a grant for painting whatever, doing something to your downtown, let's get it while it's there. But then now we've created another project and now we have to steer everything away from something we really truly need.
and I think that downtown project, they got this 3-story building, boom, you go back, them plans ain't gonna work. You wanna fill that hole, put a 1-story storefront, start there. So it can be built on top in stages if that's what it takes. But at least you move somewhere and you have something there, you know?
Something that you can add on to.
Not just have it be a hole and it's gonna cost too much to build a 3-story. Build it in stages, whatever you
Well,
gotta
and the
do.
city was never going to be the one to build the entire thing. That
Right,
wasn't what it was ever planned out to be. Just in all
Yeah.
fairness with the
Right.
EDA, it was always going to be a joint project. Once the city, there was a possibility of the EDA and with the city jumping in, so some of the gift money could come in, otherwise there's no gift money available. And
Well, I
think
understand that, yeah, I mean,
the problem is I think without the gift money, I don't know of anybody that can afford to build a 1-story property there and to get the rental rates they need. I don't think they'll find a tenant. I think that that's been the problem from the beginning. Am I wrong on that?
It's just, it feels so complicated and like such a pickle and like each option needs to get modeled out
Right.
and cash flowed out and it's, but I just, hello, Dana, I'm on the EDA.
I just don't wanna misrepresent it,
Yes.
but I believe what we understood was that the rental rate per square foot isn't something that a retailer can afford. And that's why it was kind of that joint project where if those gift funds were coming in, that would supplement it to make it more affordable. I'm not saying that that's what has to happen, I'm just saying that I think that that's why that 1-story thing didn't pan out.
I
well,
know,
then we either need to push it aside and move on or make something happen.
mhm.
You can't just sit there and spend, well, that downtown, we've been working on it for 2-3 years now. It's not going anywhere. Okay, boom, move on to something else that we can get done. You know,
Yesterday I randomly happened to talk to the builder that's gonna be hopefully building our new fire hall. And they just built, if you wanna look it up, Whitehall, Wisconsin just built a brand new library. And they said everything, the parking lot, everything included, it was $1.2 million. And I said, so how come you can build that for $1.2 million and we can't build this downtown? And they said, because you're trying to build apartments above it. He goes, but you could build your library, you got the funds for that right now.
Right,
So,
Then we lose out on the taxes.
right,
Well, we're
That's
losing tax base on that portion of the building anyway.
Right, but having that the upper level of private ownership was the
Well, I mean,
tax
I think
base.
we're saying,
for
no,
our
if we
town.
build it, Heather, we just gotta start, we gotta build it so that we can add on to it.
Right.
You know, not just make it, basically a set of Legos, you know, but you gotta start with your base first and then eventually you can add on to it or
I
something like
think
that.
it's, the issue is the base is so, it's a different cost if you're going to add
Yes,
on
you're
or
correct.
not.
It is,
And
Like,
so-
true.
so
Of
they
course
could build the
it-
library
yeah,
for
it
one
is.
point two, but if you're gonna add the base to build above it, then it goes to the 2.5 million or whatever it
Right,
is.
which, you know, the person above then would take a partial expense of that. But
Right.
until you have that guarantee of somebody being
Well, I
there,
know, I
which
understand that.
we haven't been able to get. So I don't, it's
But I mean,
complicated.
even taking this all into consideration, it's bigger than just the downtown project. Because there's more to this that, like, we need CETA to focus on other parts, and maybe we as a council need to be able to say, we need you to prioritize this. And they need to, I mean, I'm all for seeing what we can do with less hours. Because, I mean, Jana's worked her tail off filing grants for us too. And it's not like we need to rely on them, CETA, to get all of these grants. I think we really need to prioritize what projects we want done. I mean, yeah, downtown rebuild is great, but again, we have to focus on daycare and the greater needs of the community. But we have to be able to say as a council, you need to focus on this. This is where we need your focus for CETA, not like them just kind of running the show
Well,
of,
exactly.
we're
You
gonna be
rein
here,
them
we're
in
gonna
a
go
little bit,
here, we're gonna
you
go
know?
here, we're gonna have this project. We're gonna make this a project and then,
I think we just got so many projects where they're getting spread thin and so
Yeah.
nothing happens.
I talked to one EDA member today and I think we kinda came out somewhat on the same page of, for right now, if we wanna leave it the way it is, I mean, we did budget it for the year. But out of that, we also need them to answer to somebody, and I think that person on a day-to-day basis is Jana. And I think we also need to get them back in town at least 3 days a week. They have to be here in person. I think that's the big key in this. And then in 6 months, when it comes to September and we're looking for next year's budget, we'll see how it all went. If it accomplished the goals that we've set up as a council, and we go from there.
Yeah, their contract is good till the end of this year or something, right?
Yeah.
So we need to, for one
Well,
thing,
let's-
at the end of the year, we need to see if one person is coming back or if another one is staying on. If we need to get some
Well,
other
let's get
people
some-
running that
Right,
program
I mean,
or what.
they do have options, I mean, they've got a
Yeah.
big team on CETA, so that's always something
Yeah.
that can be looked at too, if there's disappointments or just curiosity about the other team members on CETA that potentially could take on, right? Like, we don't know, you know, if they've got 50 team members, we don't know if any of them have time in their schedule to add Spring Grove. But, I mean, we could certainly have those
So I
conversations
think
with them.
we need to set some goals for them,
Yeah,
you know, let's get a timeline, and let's just, so I think there's.
and
A lot of can't-
accountability,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's, accountability is,
right,
it's gotta be there on everything in life. I mean,
yeah,
we would definitely be looking into the city maintenance guys if our roads weren't plowed, you know, like we've gotta have some goal set here. And then from there, we can discuss what we need to do. And
I think it's fine for the city to set goals, but I do think that we can't say that they aren't. I don't feel it's appropriate to say that they haven't been accountable, because you can read in their report, we get a monthly report from them. They are accountable to what they've worked on for the month, so it
But I
might be
think-
that we're not happy with it. If that's, you know, maybe somebody
don't-
is stating
I don't-
that they're not happy with it, but I do feel that the accountability is there.
I think we're talking about just the accountable, but a shift in the accountability coming
Having
more,
somebody,
more,
a
more
more
to the city.
oversight.
Yes, you know,
Okay.
bringing their accountability, you know, not just to the EDA group, dealing with Janet, the administrator, and the council more.
And Jana, how many hours do you have available for this?
It's
Because that has to
random.
be realistic.
I'm already
you.
doing stuff for EDA.
Right, no, but I mean, honestly, like, do you have one day a week, you have 8 hours a week you would have available, or would it be 2 hours a week?
No, I mean,
or-
just
No, I'm just saying,
one meeting
because,
or something like that.
right, because it
I
will
think
be
you
taking
have,
up some
you
of
do
your
have,
time.
right now, you are having a weekly meeting with them.
I have a
We-
monthly meeting with the business owners, and I'm going to most of the same meetings
Yeah.
as them, so I'm pretty much in the same space as they are.
But you have a weekly meeting on Wednesdays
Yeah.
with,
Oh, with-
with CEDA
yeah.
directly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I mean, and just
Yeah.
having to shift more of the accountability to
Yeah.
Janice, that way, okay. We set the goals and, obviously that's what we asked our administrator.
So
to do.
council would set goals, and then the
I think just
administrator
kinda
would
let's-
oversee it.
I think, so, you know, what I mean, just kinda let's see
And what
we can-
about taking input from our EDA, because they are volunteers that are very committed to these projects. I don't want to insult them.
No, but I'm just,
Because this sounds like they aren't needed, or we're not appreciating what they've given to the projects that have been happening.
so I think EDA is very valuable, but I think they should be, maybe they should look at more helping our current businesses that are already here too. Taking that role more, and then all this other finding stuff, that's what CETA does, they're good at finding money, they're supposed, where the EDA works with the chamber and stuff like that, and kinda, helps in the backside of things, with the current businesses, and maybe, getting some of our empty buildings filled up too.
I think a good idea then would probably be to take this and at the next EDA meeting, probably discuss priorities and if that's realistic for the volunteers on the board to take on.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Like maybe there's people who have different strengths
Right.
to take on different areas, so I think that would be realistic to try to bring it to them and bring it back to council then.
Is there, how many members, there's 8 members on EDA or 7?
No, there's 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's 6 of us.
Six,
Six.
so like, maybe the EDA could,
So
once
two-
a month, one EDA member twice a year, you host that meeting that Jan's talking about. To take that off of Jana. That-
What
the-
meeting?
The business, meeting with the business
Oh.
owners, actually putting an EDA person in that meeting to bring it back to the EDA, monthly meeting. And it would just be something that the EDA is a board, we'd have to figure out who's willing to do that twice a year.
And we did just add that to the next agenda, asking like whose wheelhouse should be approaching that. Well, we have Laura on the phone, could we get her input? Laura,
Yeah.
have you,
So there-
Everyone,
you didn't fall asleep?
yeah, have you been hearing what everybody's been saying?
Yep, I've been able to hear it pretty well.
Okay, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Not necessarily. I do appreciate everyone's thoughts, and I'm glad that everyone's had some time to, kind of chew on some of the community's input, EDA's input, and just kind of think about, what the CDA, what CEDA provides, to the community. And I understand, that there's a lot of projects, that Courtney and Rebecca have worked on over the last few years. And, the thing is that there's a lot of big projects take a lot of time to get done, to see to the end of the goal line. So that's why, some of these smaller projects kind of help fill the time in between, to get some, whether it's a mural on the wall or getting some of these smaller projects done, so that it helps to show that there's something still happening within your community. I don't know, I know in your council packet that, it did include the CEDA contract, and I don't know if anyone read through it, but, it does, in there, it does show like what the discounted rate that Spring Grove has been getting for the duration of the contract. I just wanted to point that out again, that, you have been receiving this discounted rate for quite a while. So I think that, if you're open to continuing with the 4-day-a-week contract, I think that, we're absolutely willing and able to realign and reprioritize based on your direction what you want everyone to focus on. You know, I mean, it's not uncommon every year I do that in my communities, say, okay, EDA board, what is my work plan for you for this next year? We go through and we set our strategic goals. What are some short-term goals that we can knock off a list this year, and what are some that we have for 3 years, what's 5 and what's 10? And how can we move the goalpost, do we need to move the goalpost or things that we can accomplish? And so whatever's in the contract, that was drafted 10 or however many years ago, maybe it's looking at those bullet points and looking and saying like, we don't need CEDA to do this. Instead, we want them to do this instead. And, the contract gets signed every year, but does anyone actually read the bullet points and say, yeah, that looks right? And if we need to reevaluate that, well, then let's do that. Or if it's the council or the EDA or collectively looking at reprioritizing or saying like, hey, I mentioned the childcare. I know that there's that building that's for sale. If that is what bubbles to the top and becomes the priority, well, then that's where the focus gets shifted. As far as the personnel that are serving Spring Grove, if Jana hasn't shared with you, I am in the process of interviewing for a candidate to serve Spring Grove. I've been very open with Rebecca. Courtney I know she's on maternity leave, but she's juggling a lot of things within our company as well as it restructured a few months ago. So there would be some changes anyway when she returned from maternity leave. So if that gives anyone any different perspective or outlook, I am looking for someone that would be in your community to serve the contract to its fullest ability with your 4-day-a-week. If it stays at the 4-day-a-week, I would have someone that would be serving 4-day-a-week 10%.
I missed, what did she say?
She said if you want somebody to serve 4 days a week, she can arrange for somebody to be 4 days a week here in town, right?
Yep.
I think that would be
doing
good.
second. I'm doing second interviews with candidates tomorrow.
Okay.
It would help out a lot, I think.
Can I just add too, as far as, I guess, what I see is I would like to see the EDA and the city council work together, not it be a power play or push against each other. Let's make it strategic and figure out what we wanna do. I'm in change management. I oftentimes look at what's your current state, what does our future state look like, and then assess those gaps and how can we get there. So I think we need to do that type of an exercise here and say, what is that goal, what do we want to accomplish, and then that's what we can really work on as an EDA. And maybe it's not just the city council and the EDA, maybe we need to pull in the chamber, we have the Spring Grove Forward. Like, I think everybody has really good intentions here, but everybody's just kind of running amok, and so we need to all work together to outline what we wanna do, what we wanna accomplish, and then start
Well, that's
chipping
what we're
away
bringing up,
at
I mean,
that.
we gotta
Yeah, I think
start
we-
here and then go there. Like I said,
Exactly.
everybody's running amok with
We
all
need
these projects, and we just need
Full
to,
transparency, all the way across everything.
But like, I
we need
do
one
wanna say
starting
too,
point
like,
first.
I'm really glad that she brought up a 1 year, a 3 year, a 5 year, a 10-year plan, because how long did it take to be able to afford the new fire truck? How many attempts was that?
One.
Oh, fire
Well,
truck, one.
two, but
Well,
They
we did
denied
one
us.
thing, but we've
then
been,
Mike came back.
But
we've been
it's,
saving money for that thing for years, so.
right, but you know what I mean, and the new fire hall and things like that, it doesn't always happen quite as quickly as we
Right.
want it to. And so I think that there needs to be some grace in this, and I just think that behind the scenes, there are things happening that until I was on EDA, I had no idea how many hours were put into trying to turn a hole in our downtown into even something that could have potential. So I do think that, I certainly think that they have been doing the work, there has been transparency, but it's taking far longer than anybody had ever thought it would. You know, we were dreamers and we thought, oh, you know, we're gonna come up with a solution, we'll have a hardware store in a year and we'll be back in business. And so I think that, you know, with the EDA, we should have those, with CEDA, have those long-term goals as well as the short-term goals.
I think that's one of the things is we need to get, Jana needs to know what's going on in the background, and I think Jana, as our city manager or administrator, needs to be the manager of our city, and that includes whoever is working for us. And I think we're missing that right now. I think sometimes it seems like, Jana, you're working on the same thing as them, and then all of a sudden you guys meet and it's like, well, I've spent 30 hours doing this, well, I've spent 25, well, we just wasted, you know, and I don't think the connection is coming together. And I think that's the first thing that needs to be addressed as we move forward, that they are a subcontractor of the city and they need to answer to our city manager.
I think a lot of that'll fall into place if you start downsizing what we're doing.
Setting the goals.
Yeah.
Setting the
Yeah.
goals,
Yeah.
bringing it, instead of having 10, 15 projects, you start bringing them down.
Yeah.
I think everything will kind of work itself out, maybe come together
But just,
better.
We just gotta get that one of
We
your
do-
projects to go first.
right, but we do have to be prepared too, because you guys, sometimes there's a little sweet thing that comes through and CETA's going to present it, and it might be too good to pass up on, and it doesn't mean that it'll stand in the way of the big project we're
Right,
currently
well, if they
working
show
on.
up, then we.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't want us to say like, we will not do anything but the daycare, because that's, like they had said, you know, there's a lot of downtime when you're working on a big project like that, where you're waiting on
Oh, yeah.
stuff, where we do want to make the most out of our contract and have other things happening at the same time.
Can I ask you a question? I'm also on the EDA. I love these conversations. This is very invigorating. I would love to see the EDA sort of refocus, like do some planning, figure out what are the top 3 projects we need to work on. I hear from everybody that it's daycare. So I think we should get creative and aggressive when it comes to figuring out how we can do daycare, whether that's the EDA, whether that's the city, whether it's a nonprofit. Like, we need to know what the EDA can do. There's probably a lot we can do. I'm just learning from the mayor and Jana. There's tons of exciting opportunities out there. And I would just love to hear a little bit more about, like, you know, you say we don't see the full picture. Like, we haven't seen the full picture either. It's just the energy out there, the story out there has been just like, the new leadership has sort of a bone to pick with the EDA, wants to get rid of CETA, wants to get rid of the EDA. And so I think things are moving very quickly, and I don't think, you know, you're saying you want full transparency. We want full transparency too.
Well, that's what I mean, everybody across the board
Yes.
needs to be on the same page.
Yes.
Because I don't want you guys working on a project too, that's like, oh no, we put
Totally.
hours into this, and it's like, we had
Yeah.
we were moving towards this, and then somebody
Yeah.
else decided to spearhead it,
Yeah.
and, oh, now we have 3 of the same thing happening.
So I think just the speed at which the reassessment of the existence of the EDA and the existence of the CETA contract has happened has created some ill will and some, as the kids say these days, bad vibes. So I would love it if, it sounds a little bit like we're taking a step back from the ledge and maybe just saying, all right, let's see if we can reprioritize and give it to September, end of the year, something like that, with the hours that we have. We need to replace Rebecca because she is not working. I mean, let's just say the thing out loud that everyone has been saying on the phone and behind closed doors, is that contract, that we thank her for her service, but her professional style and her personal style is not working for people in the city. Yes, can we get some nods?
Yep.
Yes, okay, let's just say that thing out loud. So it sounds like the folks at CETA are working on that. And just from the EDA perspective, I think we need, I'm really happy to hear that this process is slowing down a little bit so we can all catch up and get on the same page, and it's not coming quite so much across as a, well, F CETA, F the EDA, because it's like we are doing our best. And we have just recently started to hear more about what the city council wants us to do and more about what planning and zoning, like we're starting to have these group meetings, awesome. We're starting to share each other's minutes, awesome. Like we have Jana who's like keeping us all on the same page. Like I think we're going in the right direction. I'm just very grateful that things are slowing down a little bit and we're like, you know, we're just pumping the brakes just a little bit so we can hopefully give it the rest of the year, see if we can refocus, build some trust back up. I mean, it sounds like that's what we need to do. We need to build some trust back up.
I wouldn't say
amongst the
that.
groups.
I
Okay,
mean,
that's how I feel.
no, I wholeheartedly trust people. I think there's just been a lot of conversations that go on in different meetings here and there, and things seem to change.
Yeah.
And I'm never informed, and I'm the one who has to inform these guys.
Yeah.
So it's always creating these ripples every direction, like every turn I
It's not
take. And so I'm constantly telling everybody, I mean, I'm always transparent, but I'm like, I need to know because if I don't know, these guys don't know.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that I've been trying to like smooth out is that.
The miscommunication
Yes.
has to be straightened out.
And I'm learning that there's a lot of
Last
stuff
meeting
that
we
has been
did.
happening that we don't know about. And so it's like, okay, we're making progress about all getting on the same page.
Right.
I don't know why all of this stuff is happening, but I'm glad that we're trying to get to the bottom of where the crossed wires are happening and
Yeah.
why they're happening.
I will take full credit for kickstarting this because I was here in August at the Fest Building meeting and it was, we can't do anything, we can't do anything. And then I get in here and I actually start calling around and I'm checking through the communities and really digging into this childcare thing.
Wow.
And there's stuff we can do.
Yep.
It was just put to that, it was forgotten. So I brought everybody to the ledge and now we're having a discussion.
Yep.
And it's been 10 months and nobody's wanted to have this discussion about reassessing. So now we're here, okay? Did my plan kind of work out? A little bit.
You precipitated a crisis, you got everyone's attention, and now we're
Yeah,
hopefully
now we
pumping the
can
brakes
work,
a little bit.
you know, like, hey, this is
You haven't known
the,
very long, have you?
this is the extent I'm willing to go,
Yeah.
you know? And I,
Because it did, you know, I
it
will
is what
say,
it is.
it did bring up a lot of conversation, you know, good, bad, or indifferent, but at least we are having a conversation about it.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anybody involved in any of these that are out for a bad reason or anything like that. I had to bring it the way I brought it to get everybody in the same room, and now we're talking.
We need change, and change needs to happen if that's what it,
Yeah,
you know. Not that it's a bad thing, it's just, things gotta change.
Just different approach, maybe.
Yeah.
Eric?
Well, I was on the EDA 100 years ago, but I was on there before CETA started. And it seemed like we'd go in there and sit on our hands and nothing would get done. And then we hired CETA and it really helped the EDA get something done. So I think you're making the right decision by not eliminating them and get everybody more involved with each other.
I mean, volunteers can only do so much, right?
Well, right,
It's,
yeah.
that's the hard thing, so, yeah.
Well, and I think since the very beginning, because everybody keeps saying that you and I have been out to get them or trying to eliminate them, I have never once said, not one time have I ever said get rid of CETA. Because I've said to many people, they have some of these girls have way more better qualities than I could ever imagine, and I can't fill their shoes. They're very smart things they have to offer to the table. So we've never said get rid of them.
Well, you gotta look
It
at
was
everybody's
just-
strengths and weaknesses, everybody has
Right.
different wheelhouses they can run in, so.
So I think in this, I don't know if it's this conversation right now, do we set the priorities for them, or do you wanna wait, have the EDA meet, and then we set them next month?
I'm kind of thinking, why don't you guys come to the next EDA meeting?
Can we have a joint discussion
Just-
together? I think that is best.
Those who can make it, come to the next meeting. I think that's the best place and figure it out together. What do you think about that,
Let's get a
Laura?
path of travel set.
Yeah, I think doing a joint work session or joint EDA council meeting would be good. And, you know, if you want me to come back to town, I mean, I can certainly do that and, you know, facilitate some type of work session. I just recently did one with our chamber, our school district, our council, our EDA, and then private investment group that we had, and had each group individually at their own tables write what their individual group goals were for themselves, short-term and long-term, and then each group presented what their goals were, and then we saw where the overlap was, and then we voted. Everyone voted then on what everyone felt was the top priorities for the community based on the ideas that were generated. So there's, and you know, so there's overlap, but then there's also some new ideas that were presented too that maybe, so I don't know if you want to do, I know we just did the joint meeting, you know, last week or whatever, but it's something to consider, and maybe we don't need to do that right now, maybe it's just council and EDA, but it's maybe something to shoot toward that, maybe in the fall, maybe that's what we do before, you know, when you're reassessing the value of your heated contract, is getting all those people in the room, getting your chamber together, getting your, you know, your EDA, your council together, and, you know, or if you have any other local community groups, and getting everyone together and have that discussion of what their goals are for the community as a whole,
I don't
and
think
then
we
see
should
how
wait that
everyone
long.
can move forward
Right, I
together.
think it should happen sooner than later. Don't be pushing
think
it
it
off
could
till
be
fall,
The
you
next
know?
EDA meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, talking next EDA meeting where you want to have council there, well,
Right.
maybe have somebody from
Yeah.
the
Representative.
private investors that are still willing to do whatever. Have the 20-30 group there, see what some of their focuses are that they want to see in the next 5-6 years. And then obviously whoever can make from council and
Well,
EDA.
even the chamber too, right? Like
Well,
what can
yeah,
the
the
chamber
chamber
do
too.
to help
Yeah,
support
absolutely.
businesses versus, you know, like, I think we
Like
need,
she's saying, everybody breakout session and what are your top 3 things you want to see done?
Right.
And the short, you know, plan it out, not just short term.
It'll be a long night, but I think it'll be.
It might be, but you know.
Might be
I
good
think
to
it's
go
gonna
to a one and
prevent a
done
lot
kind
of
of.
communication
Get it done.
issues down
Well,
the
last
line.
week was a long night too. And
Yeah,
We didn't
just-
get very
we-
far.
We didn't get very far.
We didn't get very far.
that's why I will
We
say,
got like nothing done, we just went in circles that night,
Yeah.
spinning wheel of death on this thing.
in my opinion, I do think we
Because,
could
like
benefit
Jana,
from some
you know,
facilitation.
You know, or, you know, Public Works Department, you know, they know of significant projects that are coming up down the line. You know, I mean, whether it's a major road construction or infrastructure project, you know, that's gonna affect your businesses. You know, or that's going to affect, you know, certain pieces of your community. And, okay, if that's gonna happen in 10 years, well, what do we need to do to prepare for that? Or if something's gonna happen in 5 years, what do we need to do to prepare for that? So, you know, so it's like, what are some of those long-range projects that you are aware of, and working up to that? Or, so those are some of those, that's why you kind of have to look at what are some of the short-term things that we can check off the list, but what are some of those long-range things that we also need to keep our eye on, that we have to prepare for?
And I think there's, you know, like she's wanting to help facilitate, you totally know how to kind of make that happen, so I think that, I mean, as far as facilitating it, there's already like a wealth of knowledge on that
Right.
available.
Next time we have
So
a
that's
meeting,
good.
our moderator's sitting in the corner over there.
Yeah. So
I also
that's a
think
great thing.
daycare deserves its, I mean, we have a daycare task force, I also think daycare deserves its own summit in Spring Grove, because there's so many different conversations happening in so many different realms. Everyone needs to get on the same page so no one's duplicating each other's work. And that way we can all take our marching orders, cause EDA, there's only so much we can do, there's only so much the city can do, and then, yeah, maybe we do need a nonprofit, so we need to blah, 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 but all these disparate conversations are not serving the end goal of getting us a daycare.
Right, well, you can sit there and talk and talk and talk about all this stuff, but like you say, I think we should get them all together, EDA, chamber, boom, boom, okay, there's the board. Have everybody, what's your top 3 priorities? What's your top 3 priorities? You might have 10 of them up there. All right, now we start narrowing them down, you know?
Who's gonna
And-
do what?
Yeah. or
What's
I
the
mean,
timeline?
Start to
You
dig
gotta,
stuff
you gotta
up.
pick them out, okay? But you have to have everybody together. Your top 3 priorities might be totally different than my top 3 priorities, so that's why we might have 10 of them up there.
Yep.
But some have to go, some stay, whatever. But you gotta, like I say, we can sit here and talk and talk and talk, and we should do this and we should do that, but we've got to start somewhere.
So are we all in agreement that council and try to get all the chamber and everybody should be coming to the next EDA meeting.
Either EDA or if we need to schedule another outside session, I don't know.
And would
Are
it be
there
a different location?
We could probably do it at the bus building again.
Just bring a whiteboard. You can write everything down. We can see it then, it's not just,
Yeah.
then should have Dwayne moderate.
It really should be like captured in Excel or something and then we could,
Well, Amy can moderate then, we don't need Dwayne.
Alright. It's a date, everybody.
And are we asking Laura to
Just don't have
come and
a date.
facilitate?
Will you come to that meeting, Laura?
When would it be?
We don't know.
a second.
I think we should just stick with the EDA night.
Yes, I do too.
You have the EDA meeting and go to the bus building after that and have everybody meet up there.
So that's the second Tuesday, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the 8th?
Can we go to the distillery and hold the conversation, be easier? No.
Afterwards.
I can put that in my,
Everybody some truth serum before they
Okay.
start talking. And then Dwayne will have to moderate.
Then stuff will happen.
What?
My day off.
Not no more.
and if
They're
we
over
wanted
tea,
them
over
to,
tea,
I mean,
buddy.
if we, you know, cause it'll take a couple hours to do it, so I mean, do you wanna start it earlier again?
Like a 6?
Yes.
6
Or-
Yeah,
Yes. I think so.
yeah,
Would it
let's
be
start
possible to
EDA
not
at
have the
6.
EDA meeting and just like have this.
Make that
meeting
EDA meeting that
I
night?
think that's
We could
the
just
priority.
really blow through.
And then-
Because we have to pick a new president.
Oh,
And we
that's
just
right.
like need to blow through a few things, but we could try to
That's
keep
easy
it to
enough.
15 minutes, the old business,
Whoever doesn't show up gets nominated to be president.
for sure, for sure.
Process of elimination.
So EDA at
And then at
6, bus building at 7. And, Laura,
I
do
can
you,
make it 7:30 or 6:30.
Yeah.
We can make it a fast EDA
Yeah.
meeting, can't we?
Yep.
okay, Laura, do you want me to contact all of the local 2030 chamber and all them?
yeah, I don't have any other,
Okay, I will get a hold of all those people and invite them.
okay,
And maybe even the school, I don't know.
Yeah.
and then you want me to
I think that's
facilitate it?
important.
Yeah, we're forgetting them. Public Works too.
If you want to, you can give
As a
me,
neutral.
you can give me a marker and an eraser, I can write on the whiteboard.
Well, the goal is for everyone to do their own work and then we go through it together.
Okay, perfect. I think this is a great answer to our, solution to our questions. So,
Okay.
alright,
Well, I appreciate everyone's time.
yeah, does anybody have anything else for Laura?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I have a question,
Yeah.
as far as
Go
Rebecca,
ahead.
is she still working with us for the foreseeable future?
So what will happen is, like I said, I've got, I have 3 second interviews with candidates for Spring Grove tomorrow. I've already done first round interviews. So what will happen is that whoever is selected, she will help with the transition and the training. And then when Courtney is back from maternity leave, she'll probably do some additional training on maybe some projects that she's more well versed on. And then you will just have one person serving Spring Grove.
One person serving Spring Grove?
Yep.
Who's Courtney or just the Spring Grove, or just the person you're hiring?
The new hire.
Your new
Just the
hire.
person, just the new hire.
Oh, that's a huge bummer. That's news to me.
It's
They had
It's
just
the
coming out
reorg.
Now.
It's the reorg.
Yeah, that restructure.
Yeah.
It's the restructuring.
Restructuring it, yeah.
Boo. We want Courtney back.
You can't have it all. You want change? I'm giving you change.
You sure are. You sure are. Whether you
Okay,
like it or
We'll
not.
I
take
think,
Thank you.
I think we better move on to the next,
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
we better keep moving on before this gets heated.
Alright,
Alright, thank you,
one
Laura,
time deal.
I'll be in touch.
you bet. Have a good evening.
You too, bye. Okay,
So it kinda sounds like even with restructuring, we're gonna probably lose Courtney anyway, if I eventually.
We are losing Courtney anyways. I don't know if she was gonna announce it tonight, I just heard it today.
That is super unfortunate.
Yeah.
So it goes.
So either
It's a done
direction, both of them were both leaving either way. That's why they've been hiring for Twin Grove.
Okay.
I didn't know that till today, so full transparency, I just found out before we got here.
Alright. Are you gonna tell the EDA, are you gonna, how's that gonna get communicated?
We'll let them do it at the next meeting, cause Laura will be here.
Okay.
We'll have her
Sounds
let
good.
everybody know. And if she doesn't
There's
tell
only
me.
a couple up to tell.
Oh, yeah.
They'll probably all hear it before then.
Yeah, true. Okay. Let's keep
We
moving.
done with old business?
Yep.
Moving on to new business. Sent to my committee requesting close Maple Drive, Saturday, May 17th, for setting our stuff.
So moved to approve.
All in favor? Or is there a discussion on it?
Same thing we do every year.
That's what I
I
can.
can make these next couple go pretty quick. Same thing we do every year.
Alright, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next one, setting my committee request, North Division Avenue. Close.
I make a motion to close it.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, this one is new.
This one you don't have to read the whole thing, I'll summarize it for you.
Alright.
Basically, the whole path of traffic going through town that way and coming back after the parade, they were all jumbled up. Cause people parked on both sides of the
Yeah, it was
road
up behind here.
and they couldn't pass. So this would be a city thing, but Sidney's requesting that the city guys have one-sided parking for that route and that route. So during the parade, like, cars can still get through and go towards Maple.
Yeah,
Last year,
First.
last year they
Yeah,
were,
down your street.
they got stuck because they couldn't get between cars.
yep.
So they had to wait till the parade to get over before people could move through. Same thing on the way back up by the Fest building.
Wasn't it just trafficked only on First last year?
Yeah.
Because wasn't there something happening over here?
No, so the parade goes through and comes back this way. Well, too many people parked too close together up here
This
last
way,
year.
people are coming back around, so, like,
I just
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
all
Actually,
the
didn't we
traffic
have-
was on First
Did we
with
have
the
an
road
issue last year
construction.
because of the road construction last year, so they couldn't
Well,
get
no, so
through
like
on-
last
Oh, no,
year's-
they had them on the road construction.
There
Yeah.
was,
Yeah, they were-
because there was barricades up, I know that.
It was a
got
big
moved
semi that
around
couldn't make it around the
shouldn't
corner because there was
have
cars
been.
parked.
parked on both sides.
So they got
Yeah.
stuck. So we had to wait till
I
after
make
the
a
parade.
motion for the city to make 2 routes.
Okay.
Second that.
All in favor? Say aye.
We wanted your street too before.
Cut to the chase, huh?
Jason, it's over.
Well, since the deputy's here, is that something we could ask the deputies to just not let the semis through for that half hour? Or is
Don't you
that-
usually try and hold them back?
We try to, we recommend that they wait, and a lot of times grab some shoulder, it's gonna be about 45 minutes.
Whether they do or it's up to them, kind of?
Okay. Kinda dealing with the state highway, so you get the state kinda involved, so. Yeah, we try to tell them, pull over, wait here, but if they come up from like Division,
I was gonna say, I think this one.
we can't
hits
stop that
from the
if
south.
they're coming
And
Division,
that was
taking a
why
left there to go
they
down First.
Came
They
up
were
from the
trapped.
south and they
You just
were
can't
gonna
stop
try
it.
and.
They were
come
trapped
down
over here
first.
too, so the parade people couldn't even keep moving.
And I can
So
attest,
everybody was
by
stuck.
the Fest building, when I come out there and made a left, you have cars on both sides, there's like enough for your car and maybe a scooter, cause I met a few people trying to go out towards the pool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm getting over as far as I can, I just stop, like, you inch by and I'll be when you're done, cause if I'm not gonna hit anything, you can hit me, type thing.
Alright, number 4, setting my committee request a lot by the pool for the circus on August 6th.
Yep, they've been doing this the last few years too, we just need approval for it.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Jan, have we ever approved that wagon train thing out there? I don't think that's ever went through a meeting.
What was that friendship wagon train coming?
Yeah,
in?
friendship wagon's
Did we put
coming.
that in there? I can look.
I don't think we ever
We
got
did
it.
talk about it, but I don't think we ever approved it.
Okay, I
feel
will
like
look
there
into
was
it for next
discussion,
month.
but-
Okay, I'll look into that for next month.
The WHKS estimate to moving infrastructure over to the Fest building property.
So we have a picture in your packets of, was it 7 lots, I believe? And our engineering firm said that it cost, I believe it was $72,000 to bring infrastructure over. And if you divide that up between the 7 lots, you could sell them for 30,000 a piece and still make money off of it.
70 some total for all 7 lots?
Yeah, I think it was 20 for the one, I can't remember, gotta look here. And that, okay, so that is no fill needed, includes plating, includes fixing curb and gutters after they dig it up to bring it over, includes digging up and painting or repairing the street. They estimate you could probably sell lots for 30,000.
Well,
Really, so that'd be plumbing, everything over there then?
Yep, so the one lot's up kind of by Books and Guards, there's 2 there. There's already stuff there, but you get them to each lot, that was estimated between $10,000 and $12,000. And the ones up kind of where the community garden are, there's 4 lots if you go in there. And that's estimated 50 to 60,000.
I know that when they had done the streets before, Larry and Linda Johnson have had a heck of a time with water. I don't know, something wasn't quite right, so it's something that I'm thinking they have to look at if they do this.
They've taken that into consideration because of the runoff and everything, they've looked at the elevations and
Oh, yeah,
everything.
we've got the other
Mhm.
alley there too.
Mhm.
So I guess that's my only request, that they would take a look at how it could affect, like, as it heads down past Books and Guards to Larry and Linda's. I know that they had a lot of damage to their property.
Mhm. And, I know we had 2 plans, so this might have to go on our little whiteboard because the EDA was working on a pocket neighborhood in this area. The city's looking at just parceling them up and selling them and letting people build, so I think there needs to be a decision made somewhere what kind of road might be the best for that area.
Well, I
That
think
could
it's
be a
a-
good discussion point for that meeting next month.
I think it's a good idea to get that infrastructure there, because at some point in time, we need to have it
And I,
up, ready to go.
Well, it depends on
Yeah.
who's building it, cause if the city's selling the lots and we're getting the money out of the lots and we're putting the infrastructure in, but it depends on if, there's a lot of factors in it, it depends on who's building it or who's selling it. Where's the money going?
I think the city just goes for it. I mean, it's our property. The pocket lots as a dirt side it's not even feasible. I mean, you're gonna have 12 feet at the minimum on the bottom side of fill to make it level enough to build like
Yeah,
that.
our city engineer agreed with that too.
I mean, this way you're kind of looking at lots, you know, you could do walkout basements, you could do a lot of options. I just,
And really it would be up to the owner if they can do it.
yeah, it's, I mean, it's
That's,
hands off, let people do what they want.
So then I
Right.
think the city
I
just have
also
to
hope
put
so.
it into next year's budget to
Because
make
right
the
now,
magic
there's,
happen with numbers, because that's a lot of money. So I think that
Or if we sell the lots, put them up for sale, and you know, sold, then we have the money to do it.
not do it until the lots are sold. Is that what you're saying?
I think that we could do the Kansas City shuffle for a little bit,
Yeah,
borrow from here, get it up and going, sell lots, repay it back.
cause we,
I think so too, otherwise you're gonna end up with the same problem with Sherburne's out there, you know, oh, but you guys gotta pay for it, I'm not touching it, and there
Yeah.
it sits, and boom, you know, get the infrastructure there, so it'll make it more appealing to somebody to buy a lot, it's all ready to go.
Jen, was there a street project that came under budget that we have?
Yes, well, no, remember we talked about that today, about the EDA lots? And that was gonna be bonded. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Isn't that First Street, or the last street project, didn't it come under budget that we had,
Oh, I
and
know.
it's coming back?
But we're behind on street projects too,
So-
so I think that we'd have to look at the ones that are on
So
our
we-
plate first.
We were gonna bond $300,000 if we got that BDPI
Yeah.
grant.
No, Aaron was talking about a project the other day that, with Mike Bonzi, that we came under budget on the overall project, I thought.
I'd
And
have
there
to
was
look
like
into that.
100,000 that was going back into something.
We'll have to look into that, but we also budgeted or we're gonna bond for a street project with an additional 300,000 that's not gonna be happening now too, where you could dip into that for that. There's ways we could do it. We should talk to Aaron, talk to Mike.
I like the sending it out for sale for an owner to do what they want with the property. A private sale was done.
Yeah, so how do you wanna motion that estimate for moving? You already have that, so I would make a motion to go forward with it, or what?
Do we need to see if
Or
we can make the money work?
Well,
Let's see what Aaron says on it, and then
Yeah,
we'll
let's do
see
that.
if it's in the budget, and
you
if we can do it this year.
make a motion pending the financial aspect of it.
Okay, that's what I do. What you said.
You're gonna have to give me a second to figure out how I'm gonna write this.
There we go.
Okay. Okay.
Again, we
First
gotta
and
keep moving instead of spinning wheels, so.
Yeah.
There you go.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion?
Is I'm just gonna bring up the fact that there's other street projects that keep getting pushed back year after year. And because we don't have the money for them, and so for us to all of a sudden come up with the money for something else that hasn't been on the plate.
But we're not gonna sell the street to pay for itself. We're gonna sell the lots to pay us back for the infrastructure we're putting in.
But we need to have infrastructure for the current residents.
They don't have infrastructure right now for the current residents that have street
We
problems?
have, yeah, we do have issues. And those issues are well known.
I don't know.
Attend city council meetings.
Mm-hmm.
Our streets are in bad shape.
We've got a lot of projects that have been pushed back. So I think it's just,
And there's funding. Something happens and also the funding's gone for them.
yeah, they just keep getting bumped. And so that's something that I think should, that
I
maybe
think this
we're
could
not
pay
aware of
itself
it.
off in 2 years and then start making tax revenue to help us in the future. I mean, a brand new house, what's the property tax on a brand new house?
Somewhere between probably around $4,000 to $7,000,
And we get half of that back,
a percentage of it.
you know, about half, so. So do we have an amendment to the motion, or?
Mike, do you wanna leave it as is?
Yeah, sure.
All right, all in favor of the city moving forward with lots pending the financials,
Aye.
say aye. Aye.
Opposed.
4-1, motion carries. Reviewing council members' letter of
Number
interest.
6.
6, we're on liability.
Oh.
Oh, yep, liability coverage waiver for the League of Minnesota Cities.
In the past, we've always chose not to waive the limits, otherwise it's gonna get really expensive for the city.
I still move not to waive.
Any
I remember we do
discussion?
this every year and I can't remember what we did.
I had to go back and look too, cause I knew it's the same every
That was one of my
year.
questions for you today when I called you about the ordinances. I was gonna ask you that, I
Is
forgot.
that what you asked Bruce yesterday?
Yeah, cause every year, we do the same thing, but I can't always remember which direction it goes.
Yeah.
Is
Any
it-
discussions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Alright, chamber permission to put up sign on each end of town showcasing music in the park. On Wednesdays, receive DOT approval. No street closure this need for,
Yeah, I was questioning that. Where
So,
are they having this?
They're having
There's
it in the
no-
park, because they're trying to make it more inclusive with music and market, so they're having all the vendors in the park, and they're also opening it up to, like, if you sell Scentsy or candles or whatever, like, anybody can come set up a tent.
Not just handmade.
Yeah, because they felt like before, like, it's kind of just separated, like, you got this going on over here and this over here, so they're trying to, like, mesh it all together. And they're gonna have yard games for kids and stuff like
Make a
that.
motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Reviewing city council letters of interest, appoint new council member. Resolution 2518, filling the vacancy on city council. Has everybody had time to look through the letters, or do we wanna look through them now?
Harley Gavin is on vacation, but she said if we wanted to, we could call her. And Sammy Boyd is at another meeting, if I remember right, so she wasn't available.
So last time we did this in like a closed session.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
You can
That
close it
was
if you
another
want.
closed session.
Yeah, you were the interviewee.
It was a private meeting,
Mm-hmm.
so.
Do we have to do it that way, or can we do it this way?
We can do it however we want. Last time we interviewed people at City Hall, I think it was you. wasn't it?
So you're not, we're not interviewing?
Whatever you guys want to do.
Well, we
First of
scheduled
all-
the interviews last time, so,
Mhm.
What's that?
last time
Who's-
the interviews were
you two?
scheduled.
Who's here to apply for the job? Okay. So I don't know, we ask them questions, take a vote, or what do you
And
want to
then we
do?
only got two people, we're in, we
Right,
can ask
because the
questions.
other-
Well, you got the other two, how were we
Previous
gonna work that
commitments.
with them?
Sammy couldn't be here, so you can't ask her questions.
So I mean,
And
So I think we just go off the letters then, or what?
it's however you guys want to proceed. You got to tell me how you want to do it.
I think it's important to ask this, just that same group of questions to each candidate, because
Right,
it,
but I don't think we'll find out tonight then, cause you can't,
right.
you gotta give the other two the same
Yeah, I think it
option.
maybe set up a separate time like you did last time. I thought that that went really well. What did you guys think?
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty smooth. What do you think of it, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Gee, so easy.
Yeah.
I just answered the questions to the best of my ability.
Would they be on by the next meeting?
Yes,
If we-
I just need 3 days to post you guys getting together, and then we can call these guys in.
So,
so like we
We'd
we
set
could-
the date now.
We can meet next
Sunday?
And then just.
Tuesday night or Wednesday night or
um,
whatever, and then
yeah.
we can, right, cause you have 3 days to post.
So maybe not, if they're about, do we know when Harley gets back from vacation?
I don't.
She was just on vacation.
That's a good life.
No shit. Well, listen, dog.
Eric, do you have any commitments? Like certain nights that don't work for you
I do.
to schedule this? Linda, do you have any commitments?
Nope.
No? Okay. So then it's just maybe if Sammy typically has Tuesday meetings, I don't know, maybe we skip Tuesday?
How about
I don't know.
I reach out to everybody tomorrow and see what works
I
best?
think so.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
That works.
I can't do during the daytime, but evenings or weekend.
Oh, you
Okay.
can basically yourself.
Any day works for me, so you don't.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we need a motion on that to set up interviews, or
I think so.
what, Morgan?
I don't.
No, I'm questioning, like, I asked Jen about this, because to me, Heather, you wouldn't necessarily be involved in the interview process. Since you're stepping down.
No, Chad was when we replaced Mike.
Okay. I asked how it went.
We were all
So it's
there.
like I didn't
We were all
feel-
there, and he was able to ask questions and make a point, make a statement, which he thought was, would be best, or maybe.
Does the vote, like, is that a voted thing then?
Yep,
Like, we'll
we did
just-
vote,
It's
yep.
just like what we do here.
Yep, yeah, so basically it's just a posted closed meeting.
And we just do it up at the city office.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we could do it here too, I guess. I don't know. It's up to.
No,
It's easier up there.
It's up there. Janet's already there, got over stuff there, she hasn't ready to go.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for coming and sitting through our entire meeting.
Yes,
Oh,
you're welcome.
Shows you're interested, that's why.
That's good.
You're not out of the chances yet.
Yeah.
Nobody's out of the chances yet.
Sensing seems to be determined.
Do
Janet,
we have
do
a
we need a
motion?
motion on that?
No, I think I can just
I
send
think we
it
used to
out.
do that,
Yeah.
motion with that one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Okay, I will work on setting that up.
Thank you.
Congressional discretion spending, that's a new fire hall grant that you wrote?
Yeah, so they shut down all projects for 2025 and asked us all to reapply again for 2026, so that's done and in the books.
When does that, like, when does the application have to be in and when, how long is the process?
Would you get a call last week, you called me last week the one day,
The
hey,
first-
I need the number now because it's due tomorrow?
Are you
Yep.
serious? They'd give you no time?
1 day notice, that was,
You got it
yeah,
twice now. 3 times actually done
Right,
it this
but,
way.
and then when do you find out?
That's
That's,
the question.
that's a good question,
Right?
cause I've been waiting,
We were supposed to find out here in a couple days regarding last year's fiscal year spending.
yeah,
And then they came back last week and said, whoa, everything's out, everybody gotta reapply now.
yep, I know. We should've known by, was it June of last year?
And they kept kicking the can because they couldn't get it figured
Yeah.
out.
So,
Yes,
I-
we
but they
grants
wouldn't
today.
tell you to reapply if you weren't in the running.
well, they tell you to reapply, they tell
Oh.
everybody to,
Shoot.
yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
right, yeah.
But since we got that far and everybody on both sides knows who we are, then we're in pretty good standing. Can't say that you're gonna get it, but at least they know who you are.
Sure.
And
We made Goober Schmooze a senator the other day.
yeah, yeah. So I had to apply from both sides: Brad Finstad's office and Klobuchar's side. Their end date is March 31st to submit it. So they have different dates.
Yeah.
Which is what got confusing before, because Courtney applied for one, and I applied for one, we thought they were two different ones, but it's the same one, we just went from different sides. It's really confusing, but I'm learning. Next year I'll have it down.
Yeah, because she called me like last Tuesday or something like that, or whenever
Yeah.
I need these numbers today because it's due tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think I got it at like
Did you have
1
to
in the
base it off of
afternoon.
your last
We-
year's numbers?
Well, we have a guy.
Yeah,
We have a guy.
yeah,
We call him, he gives us updated numbers,
yeah,
we're golden.
yep,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Because that's like not enough time.
No, they knew it too. They said, sorry, we need this tomorrow. Oh my gosh. Okay,
No approval on that, just?
no, just giving you an update on it.
2025 wildfire energy drinking water grant,
I applied for that for the fire hall. If they get it, they'll get 2,300 cans on a pallet of water that they can share when they go to fires with other people that are helping with the fire.
Just tell them where it's from, and unfortunately. it's-
Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah, have you seen that? They have their
so it's
emergency
from
water.
COVID money, it's COVID water, it's like 4 years old or what? Cause isn't that when they did that?
Oh,
I told her to put in the grant, this is the flavor we like.
yeah.
Yeah.
I may or may not have also put in there, if we don't get it, at least somebody's gonna get a laugh out of it, that when we're not drinking water and we come down after our fires, everybody likes to decompress by having Anheuser-Busch products.
So you're hoping for a mixed palette, is
Yeah,
it?
yes, that would be
Maybe.
fantastic.
Maybe just, this one's the wrong stuff.
Moving on to number 11, approve the hiring of Jan Lochner as library aide.
I make a motion to hire Jan Lochner as library aide.
That was second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Community Facility Project, awarded letters, City of Spring Grove.
This is our EDA, a grant that Courtney wrote. I believe it was $500,000 that we got to go towards the rebuild project downtown.
That's his MDA one, right? It came to
Yep.
Minnesota Department of
Yep,
Ed. So, would that be towards the library then?
Yes.
So what's that put them at then with this grant?
I would like to say, I thought they said they had like 1.2 million before, so an extra 500,000 they're creeping up.
1.7?
They're sitting in a pretty good spot.
Are the verbal donations, what are those at, or is that just for the library?
Well, they haven't really got the exact number on it yet. I think they're
So,
waiting to.
This one, potentially 1.7 is grant money that. Right, that's all like grant money that Courtney's applied for the library?
Yes,
And there's still the maybe potential verbal.
the donors on top of that.
So the library has
Well, nice library.
2.some million
Those are
dollars,
good money.
Just under 2 million they should have.
and they would be, how much of that, would they be willing to do a one-story, or,
Well, they could probably build right now if they wanted to, it's just
Right.
what everybody else wants in that spot.
It's whether we wanna try to get some tax money in that space too, on top of the
Right.
public.
Right.
I mean, in theory, if the city office is there, we could sell the city building, then there would be some new tax revenue that doesn't exist currently.
Mhm.
Is
And
it
there's ways
apples
to-
to apples? No, but I mean, certainly, it would be nice to not push the whole off forever.
Well, we can't, because if we keep pushing it off, they're gonna start losing this money, and it's gonna go back and go to somebody else.
Right.
There are deadlines that you gotta use it by, and that's
So
why,
let's just
yeah,
build a library.
exactly, yeah.
that's why we're like, we gotta get this stuff pushing.
Let's
Get
just build Jan a new library right now.
people.
Here for it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think we
you're
need
sitting back there, do you
She's
know what
sitting back
the
there,
exempt
yes.
numbers are?
No, but
I don't remember.
I thought you were like
This is-
2.5 million.
That, no, that's how
Libraries
much it
will
costs to
pay
build just the library.
I thought they had 2.5.
no.
Or was that with verbal?
That's the breakout amount of how much it costs to build the library portion only, was 2.5 million.
Well, that's what I thought too. I thought we were at 2.5 with the donators that want to donate just to the library. I
That's
thought
what I,
what-
yeah, I was thinking you were at like the verbal commitment,
on
you're
the same
around
page as you.
2.5.
Yeah.
See, this is a good thing, we can button up in a meeting.
So can we fit a daycare in there for 2.5?
In the library?
Yeah,
Yeah, you can be the babysitter.
yeah.
Well,
You'll probably get
I
a pay
do have
raise
that
if you're,
role, but,
if you're the child care director and the director of the library.
Oh my goodness.
Double salary or something.
I'm only 25 hours a
Still
week.
not worth
so-
it.
Hey, that's
Or
better
full-time.
than zero, what a
Yeah,
librarian's at right now.
25 hours a week, if you can make that work. Yeah, I just have to shift my hours, I guess. Oh, I'm too old.
She's wishing she wouldn't have showed up now.
Zoning, on the zoning.
The only thing I've given out this last month was John Celine applied for his lawn art permit. But it's picking up, people are getting ready to do projects this summer. So, and a lot of people are doing projects, so if you see things happening, some people don't need permits if they're replacing what's already there. It's just if they're adding on and covering more ground. But I'm glad people are asking, because otherwise there's a $250
Oh, great, they're not
fine.
adding on, covering more ground, I'd say,
Yeah.
I can replace my garage with no permit, perfect.
Yes.
She doesn't know it's gonna be added on this way and that way.
Yeah, so it's gonna start picking up in that area.
Alright, moving on to ordinance.
We have number 14 that I added on at the beginning. The resolution, 2519 fire truck, is to acquire the new fire truck.
Also move.
Second.
Any discussion on that?
Now, this should be the last paperwork, right?
I've said that like 7 times now.
Oh, yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion
We
carried.
gotta get it done, from what I've been told,
It's coming.
midsummer.
So does it have a parade when it comes by? Just drive it up and down Main Street?
We should,
Did you say this summer?
yeah,
This
like
summer.
July, I believe,
Super.
it'll
So,
be here.
from what I've been told by Andy,
It's awesome.
first walkthrough would be in May. Second walkthrough would be July, and that'd be delivery date.
So you got a fire truck you're looking to sell at that point, or is it just replacing? Gotta make room for it, right? Perfect.
Yep, We're gonna have to start advertising it.
Yeah, better have an escort through town with a new fire truck. And
It's a
lights
fire truck,
flashing.
they don't need
That's
the
right,
tires.
I'm
They have
ready
their
for
own
that.
lights.
Red lights, have fun.
Lights are on.
Alright, moving on to ordinance policies. Gianna,
Chapter 706, traffic regulations and parking of motor vehicles. I'm asking to amend, number 1, truck parking to include A4. So it'd be both downtown commercial and residential, which it's currently not. It's up to you guys if you want to leave it or change it.
so who's asking, or what?
So basically,
I was,
there's certain things you can't park downtown that are parking on residential streets, like you might have a grain truck or stuff like that, that is parked on the street that we wouldn't allow anywhere else. And some people sometimes in the residential neighborhoods don't like these kind of vehicles parked in their residential spots in front of their houses and stuff,
so you're,
So off-street parking is what you're stating
Yeah,
is required.
cause we already have in our ordinance that you can't do it in the downtown commercial district. But this is asking if you guys wanna add it also to residential.
But if somebody's just pulling on the side to jump into
They
Quick
can
Trip
do
and
that.
go out,
Yeah.
we allow that.
Yeah, we allow that anywhere, I mean, obviously.
So you're saying if he's a truck driver and he's
He should
coming
have some
home for the
driveway.
night, he can't park his truck in front of his house,
It's
basically.
always used to be
Yeah,
that way
that's-
because my dad always had his lower driveway and
Well-
if he didn't park there, he parked out on the outskirts of
But
town.
it's different, cause there's DOT vehicles, and then there's some vehicles that are not DOT, they're farm trucks. Right, Brownlee? Brownlee, am I explaining it correctly?
So are you
Farm
still,
trucks, you don't, they get DOT inspected, but you don't need a CDL to drive. Most times of the year.
are we talking a semi?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
well, you're careful, because in that, it reads combination, in that,
Or short
in the
truck?
paperwork, it reads a combination, well, I have a 1-ton pickup with 14,000-pound trailer, I need a Class A combination to drive it. And that's a pickup and a skid loader trailer.
Yeah.
So, that would be, then,
That
I
would
couldn't
need to
park
be
my
parked
truck
in
and
the driveway.
Well, that's
trailer.
what I'm asking too, like, are we not allowing people with a trailer to park in front of their own house?
Well, a lot of this came into play because of Todd Oler. Cause people would drive home with, big equipment behind their, like Brock. He drives a truck with a trailer behind it, might have a posse or draft, something on it, and a lot of people didn't like that, but he's a DOT vehicle.
commercial vehicle.
Or
Well, anything
commercial
over,
vehicle.
You see, when you talk commercial vehicle, it could be anything from a 3/4 ton pickup with a trailer with a backhoe on the back, or a semi. But I can tell you when I hauled sugar beets with a Class C license, I didn't have a CDL, and I drove a semi, you know, it was a 16 wheeler, not an 18, because there was super floats on the trailer, and the big dump box went like this, it was a semi.
Yeah.
But I did not need a CDL to do that during harvest season.
Yeah, because you're farming sim.
And it's not a commercial vehicle, it's farm plated, so it's a farm truck.
Farm truck.
Yes.
So
it
park
all
it on
depends
the
on your
truck.
trailer, how you license them.
Well, then it's like, it's either one or you start splitting hairs now, so.
Right,
Yeah.
that's
I don't
tough.
So it's like, you can take that, I can pull up the truck and trailer, they both have farm plates on them.
Yeah. I personally, I don't like parking my truck and trailer in front of my house, but there's nights you just gotta do it. So,
I don't
I don't know.
think that it's
I don't-
appropriate for neighborhoods.
Can you do
And
a
I
time
go only
limit?
I
because
don't
of
like not allowing it when,
I grew up with it and I know exactly where that truck had to be parked. It was either there or in the middle of the night, my mom had to get dressed and drive out to the outside of town to pick them up. Because neighbors don't wanna see it in town, right? Like
I
on
mean,
the
I grew up with
street.
a log truck in
So-
front of my house too though, and I never, I mean, that was just the way it was when I was a kid.
Can you do something with a time limit, like you
Well,
used to
not
be
that.
able to not have your
It's
car
like
for
right
longer
in
than
front of our house.
72 hours, or
It's
that'd
for
be?
road.
We already do have that, but
Well-
it's just not, for this particular instance, it's not worded that way.
You
So,
guys have the ordinance broken down, it's classified by vehicles.
Yeah.
So it goes with the truck portion, and all you're limited to is, it would fit where the semi can't park that I can think of right now, but it says business district, in a business district, and all it says, and it's like, well, it's not in the business district, it goes by normal parking now of 72 hours, and it does move every 72 hours.
Are we talking about particular semi?
I'm guessing so.
Could be.
I'm guessing I know what.
I have a feeling I think I know.
But
Is there any way you could like
it's still owned, they,
set that to a vehicle with air brakes? So it'd be saying a semi and not a 3/4 ton truck? So a large commercial vehicle with air brakes.
At that point, you wouldn't do air brakes, you'd go anything over the gross vehicle weight.
Well, that too.
Gross vehicle weight or length, but can we
Yeah.
do that?
But then you get dump trucks.
But a dump truck isn't as
True.
long as a semi. A dump
Or
truck is the
But
same
it's-
length as a straight truck.
Box truck, yeah.
But weight limits.
Wait,
If
let
we go anything over 26,000 GVWR, which is anything class B or higher.
Brownie, why don't you figure this out and let us know?
Then you're gonna look at school buses.
Yup, because you gotta
Yeah.
have a class,
I got a class B to drive a
get
school
every
bus,
so, yep.
26,000.
So the bus can't park on
Well-
President Street either.
Was this brought up by community members?
Yes.
Okay, so it was important to someone.
And
It's
that's
not just
why-
that we're
No,
doing
yeah.
I'm familiar
something.
with where it parks and, but
And
I've seen
so-
other places where you see like, she brought it up before, like New Age Tree Service pickup truck with a trailer. I've seen other instances of that where it's parked where, I usually don't get complaints, so I just.
Well, I mean, I
Well,
brought
I
the truck
mean,
trailer home,
like-
parked in front of my house and whatnot.
my dad parks a truck and trailer in front of our house all the
Well,
time.
I think the
Voted for
only
next morning.
solution is to say no, but if you're gonna start splitting hairs, then you're gonna create all kinds of problems. Just don't allow it, and that covers everything, you know? You just say, nope, can't do it. There might be a lot of people that don't agree with it, but how
So
else,
what
you
will
say,
they
well, you
do
can
if they
park your
don't
truck,
have a
but you can't
setup
park
for
your
it
truck.
right
So
now?
where would the destination be to put all these vehicles then, if you did
Right.
just
Because
say
then
no?
you're also gonna get a ticket if you park it on your lawn.
Yeah.
Well, so,
How about the,
Well-
what's the parking lot by the football field?
That's what I
City.
was just gonna ask.
The city,
Place, I
Um,
see him parked there one time.
I've seen
Yeah.
it there too. If
It's
it's
not going to be really far a walk
And my
either.
dad always parked over by where the grain place
At the
is.
grain site.
Yeah,
They'll
that's
know where
where
the
they would always
gravy
let
parking
him.
I know
still
there's
there,
a-
ain't
There's
it?
a semi that parks
Or
on Northern
my mom would
Gravy
go
too.
pick him up.
Yeah,
in town.
that's what it
Yeah.
is, northern gravy is empty.
Just give them a call and say, hey, do you mind if I park my semi?
Throw a bike in the back of your truck.
Yeah.
I'm just worried about, that's really, having a CDL there is like, classifying it is, there's, so, a 3/4
So
ton truck
that-
can pull my skid loader trailer, Class A combination, but my 1 ton truck can't. They look the exact same, if I took the badges off, you wouldn't know
Well, if we're
it.
gonna start splitting hairs with no trailer parking, then that means campers too.
oh yeah.
We already have that
Okay.
on the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already have that. We just don't have.
Has anybody talked to the resident and asked him if he could try something different? If it
Yeah,
is
like
one
just a
particular
personal
person?
with that resident to say, hey, like, do you think you could park? At the
Can we do that as a city or no?
Or just
Talk to
time of year
anybody.
where, now that it's warm, they don't park there anymore.
I do, yeah, plugging it in is probably
And
part
that's,
of
I've
it.
seen the cord run up too, so
Yeah.
I'm sure that's why.
More they've
Or
been
they've got
parking
like a
now is
Nipco
better,
runner.
I think.
But they can't.
You either allow all or you allow none. That's what,
I
it's
think
either
that
all or
that's the
none.
tough thing.
So that would just
Yeah.
leave the ordinance as is and
Maybe revisit next month, find out if the people involved are willing to figure out a different solution.
But then am I picking and choosing who I'm calling because I'm not calling my own husband for doing the same thing?
You know what
Well,
I mean?
it's the-
But I mean, I
whoever's
think
bringing
you'd
it
be,
to your
you'd be
attention.
calling based on a complaint,
Yeah.
Right, only to the
From a
people who are
resident.
bringing it to your
you know,
attention.
only the ones that.
Yeah, but I look at it this way. Hey, can you move your truck? And they're gonna drive by my house and be like, "Why is Brock able to do it and I can't?" You know?
Yeah, I would Snapchat that.
Yeah.
I would purposely drive by your house every
I would
until I had Brock parked there, and I would put it all over, like, oh, I can't, but she can? Like, I would
I guess some
purposely
people
do
That's
that.
what I'm saying. Like,
Work for the city.
I don't want to get into the business of calling certain people.
Well, then I guess
Oh.
I agree with Mike that it's, I mean, we can't, I don't know how we can divide this
Well,
out to make it
also, here's
equitable.
another angle to that. Like he just said, he could have 2 different trucks. how am I gonna know which one is which? I guarantee I'm not gonna
Right,
know.
but maybe it's the trailer.
And I don't
You
even
can
know.
park the truck, but not the trailer.
I don't know
I
all
don't
this DOT stuff. I am like the last person to know all that. So for me to call somebody, I could be wrong.
Yeah,
and look like an
Do
idiot.
we know?
So the House Amendment read now, you can or you can't?
You can.
Right now
You
I can.
can?
Right now I can. So right
Just
now I
leave
can.
it then, just like you said, leave it as it is then.
Table it. We gotta figure out a solution.
Every neighbor, you know, you got somebody, maybe you say, hey, could you not park there? Or maybe it's just short term, while it's like I said, plugged in or whatever, and, you know,
Because once in a while, Josh Meyer will bring a piece of equipment home because he's taking it somewhere tomorrow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he's sometimes he takes Brock's spot. And then the next day I'm like, hey, Josh pulled up with a truck, you're gonna have to park in there. So he backs into the driveway with it. But
Well, that's what I say, allow it to
Well, I
happen, but it
think
can't be
if they
parked there
have
for 3
off-street
days.
parking available, they should utilize it.
Well, yeah, if they have options, they
I
should.
think it, you know what I mean, so I think one of the things that, I mean, if it comes up again, is if somebody does have off-street parking available at their property, they must utilize their off-street parking,
I can go after that. I can call somebody on that.
right? I
And
think
ask
that that
them.
would be acceptable language,
Because the people that I see, if they're able to, they do back it into their driveways.
right? If they have, you know, parking.
I don't know on this.
I just think we're looking at a big number of people in our community who drive a truck and trailer and will just bring it home for the night and park it in front of their house and leave the next day.
Yeah, I can think one not too far from your house that has a truck and trailer, parks on the street, moves it every couple days or every day.
I just know that my dad was never allowed to park a truck and trailer. I mean,
Hmm.
he'd park the truck in the upper driveway if he had to run the NIPCO in the winter, but otherwise it was, they had a special lower driveway on their property to park his
Oh,
eighteen wheeler.
there's people sitting right now.
Was.
It was?
But that's why they have a lower driveway at their house, because he couldn't park his semi on the street. I mean, and I think that that's a respectful, I think it's a respectful thing for your neighbors. I wouldn't wanna look at a semi out my window every day, sitting on the street. I think that'd be horrible, it'd block my view. You know what I mean? I would disagree with that. Coming from a household that had a truck my entire life, I would totally disagree. And I don't think it's appropriate for the neighbors to have to look at that every day. I'm
I
not
just
saying you have to make
think
a
where it
decision,
gets
but,
dicey is that a lot of these trailers are moved during the day. Like,
yeah, his
we're
was
talking
too,
about a
but
lot of people that are
overnight.
just overnight parking, like truck and trailer, and, you know, they're leaving at 5 o'clock in the morning, so they're loaded and ready to go and haul out, and we have a lot of business people in our town that that's gonna affect too.
Right.
I do, by the way, tell my husband that he could be risking himself a ticket. And he's like, I'll risk it for the biscuit.
Give a little money to the city.
It's on YouTube.
Did you hear that? He's willing to give money to the
Because
city.
I tell him, don't make Brownlee do his job. And he calls them guidelines.
Suggestions.
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 Could we ever go down the so many days a year you can park? Like, and if that way, if a neighbor had a problem, if they kept track and took pictures with their camera phone, they're all time stamped. And if you exceeded a certain amount of days in a year, in a calendar year or something.
I feel like that's gonna be a nightmare for you and I.
But I also feel like we're going back to how many people are really complaining about this.
Okay, so look at it this way. I have to have proof for everything that I make him go write a citation for. So
Brownlee, you're the law enforcement, figure this out.
he don't do it unless I tell him
I
to.
follow your ordinances as good
Yeah.
as they are, as
Yeah,
bad as
his
they
job
are.
is to follow ordinances.
I mean, there's
Jazz
pros
demise.
and cons. both
There
ways,
is,
but-
Yeah.
and it's like we're
Yeah.
splitting hairs on
But
some things too.
most cities wouldn't allow it on their residential streets. So, I don't know.
Make it like a chicken permit, and they gotta get their neighbor's permission to get.
There you go.
There you go.
That Goober could be an NPR again.
Yeah.
Oh, Matt talked about you, he goes, Goober's on NPR.
Getting more chickens.
So do we have a motion anyway, which way?
I'm gonna say at this point, I make a motion to leave the ordinance as is.
I'll second it just to go on.
You are very easygoing today, Mike, what the hell?
All in favor, say
We can
aye.
argue about this all night long.
I know.
Opposed? Trent, did you?
He said aye.
I made the motion.
Alright,
Pay attention.
okay,
Give me a long day for you, I understand.
I guess we're leaving it the same.
You're still worried about yesterday and meeting with the senator. Swooning her.
Okay,
Title
Sorry.
1500 water.
we're just asking, there's a cold weather rule and every year the dates change. So instead of us coming back every year to ask permission to change it from this date to that date, just go by the state guidelines.
Yes, that'd be great.
So you're making a motion.
Yep.
Second.
Yeah.
All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Thank you.
Easy
All
enough.
opposed, same sign, thank you. Mayor, city council. Anything to talk about?
Nope, regular meeting next month, April 15th. And now we also have the
April 8th.
April 8th EDA city.
6:30.
At
We said-
best.
6:30.
6:30.
Weren't they gonna do EDA at 6 to 6:30 and then the
Yep.
big one
And then
starts?
ours
Yeah.
starts at 6:30, yeah.
At the festival. Let's see if I get that right this time. Every time we've switched a location, I still put it here every time, cause I have it.
I'll try to remember to read my email and not show up at 6 for an EDA meeting.
Meeting reports?
EDA was mainly about childcare, I think. Kind of with the purchase of the property falling through and,
Oh.
yeah.
That, we closed on that last lot on Friday,
Yeah.
Fitzpatrick, so. And he's looking into trying to buy Mark's lot, or, like, the entire thing, the way it kinda sounded, so. I don't know.
Has Mark not started anything on his lot?
He's put some dirt in there, and I think that's kind of the price is, I'm trying to figure out what the price on the dirt is fair, I guess, I don't know. But yeah, so we're out of those lots, they're all gone.
Eric, were those lots there when you were on EDA,
Which ones?
out of town?
The EDA lots,
There was a lot of them on there.
Did you hear? Finally closed on the last one.
24 years later.
Was it a dirt, Bruce?
There was
Dirt
one
bike track?
building there when I was on the EDA.
That was tough.
Yeah.
And we got road signs 2 years ago.
When you got here.
Thank you.
We wanna know where budget cuts.
That was our big special project.
The
to Try
signs.
to get them sold, and like, you can't sell them without any sewer and water out there. You can't.
Right.
Finally, they got that grant, and lift station, and
Too bad we didn't put electric out there, city electric. But it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah,
You're on My Energy?
yeah.
Bummer.
Yep.
That hurts.
Parks?
Okay, we passed out outdoor recreation grant program flyers. Talked about and discussed extending the pickleball season past March 31st and changing the lights to motion lights. And no updates on the pump track. I'm gonna table that to next month. We're looking to recruit new volunteers for the flower plots, whether they put it on Facebook or Spring Grove's page. Discuss the pickleball days are Sunday and Wednesdays, 6 to 8 PM, Saturdays 9 to 11 AM. And anything else, Jenna?
I think that's about
You know
everything.
what, you guys, I saw at least a dozen kids up at the basketball courts the other day coming home from work.
I heard they've been up there all the time.
Yeah.
It's
They're all
really
getting
good to
And we
see.
actually talked about that.
Yeah, really good to see.
I'm working on a grant right now to get like a bike rack up there, a water fountain. I just called today to get a porta potty brought back up there again, and more benches and like a thing with shade for people to sit under.
Shade would be nice, yeah.
And I asked the person if I could try and throw in like a little fenced in area for a little dog park. So we'll see what they say.
Wasn't no shade there when I was a kid, I lived.
That might explain a lot, too much sun. Right.
Turned out just fine.
I'm the mayor now, so.
That's untapped knowledge once he became mayor too, he told me, now he's a genius at this.
Planning and zoning. So it wasn't really anything, was it?
No
No
meeting,
meeting.
Yeah.
we didn't meet.
Perfect. Library?
They didn't meet either.
Jeez. Take a month off.
Motion to adjourn.
I second. Boom.
Any discussion? All in favor to adjourn? Say aye. Aye.
Good meeting.
I'm gonna give, Jan, I'm gonna give you this laptop, okay?
Doesn't work anyway.